All righty. Good morning. Happy Friday. I don't know about you, but I am so ready for it to not be Friday and be Saturday instead. And I'm so happy to be here with you guys today because it's been a week and I can't wait for a stretch. You might see my little furry friend here. He's my emotional support dog. So he may show up because he's my little shadow. Um, and you might be getting a little, oh, here he is trying to figure out what's going on. All right. Anyway, today what we are going to do is some upper body, primarily arm, shoulder, back, upper back, a little bit of neck stretches here to open ourselves up. And we're going to focus on mobility. So you may have been hearing recently, there's a lot of talk about mobility and what is the difference between mobility and flexibility? So flexibility is the ability of your muscle fibers to expand or elongate and then contract. Mobility is more about your body's ability to move through a full range of motion. So that really involves your joints, right? And the shorter your muscles, the tighter your muscles are, they all attach to a joint somewhere. So if they are short and tight, your joint is restricted in range of motion. So mobility exercises, we're not isolating just to the stretch of the muscle fibers. We're really moving through joints. Okay. So the key word here is also moving. When you kind of, if you were to search mobility exercises, every single one of those is movement through a range of motion or multiple joints. Okay. So that's what we're going to focus on today. We are going to start with some windmills and as usual, if you want to do these standing, you can. I'm going to scoot back here. Won't need to see my feet yet, but we're going to start with some windmills. So you're going to need to scoot yourself over to the edge of your chair or even stand if you have that option available to you. And we are going to start with our palms out and just nice and slowly start moving our hands in this plane of motion. So you want to keep the shoulders down, your abdominals contracted, sitting nice and tall. And we are just going to start opening up our body here. So anytime we raise our hands above our heart, we get our heart pumping a little bit. And that is good because the juices get flowing. We start to bring some oxygen to our muscles. They get warm, right? Sit around, we get really stiff. So here we are just opening those shoulders up a little bit, opening up the back a little bit here. And your pace for any of the things we're going to do today is up to you. If you want to spend a little bit more time in each of the positions as we move through them, you're welcome to. So if you want to settle in, but just remember with mobility, we do want to make it dynamic in that we are going to bring movement to all of these exercises. So if you're feeling super creaky and you feel like you need to slow down or you're finding a sweet spot that needs a little more attention, that's okay. But we're just going to keep moving. All right. So let's do a little bit of shoulder rotation here. The rotator cuffs get really tight. A lot of us have limited range of motion for a variety of reasons. We're going to start with cactus arms. And you don't have to don't worry about the coordination here. We're going to just kind of look like little robots and alternate. Okay. So the trick here is shoulders down. Keep your elbows at 90 degrees. And also try to keep your elbows high. Now, if your shoulders are creeping up like mine, you can drop your elbows a little bit just to help relax the shoulders and the neck because it's not super helpful for us to try to work on one area and then make another area tight, right? Right. So for many of us, shoulder mobility is a challenge. Some of it is our sedentary lifestyle, but if you have a shoulder injury, if you've had surgery, if you've had shoulder replacement even, our range of motion is going to be pretty limited here. And our shoulders are one of the largest range of motion and it's a pretty cool joint because we can move in a variety of ways, right? Because our elbows go this way, that's pretty much it, but our shoulders go in all kinds of ways. So really important to be able to do shoulder rotations. When we think about mobility in life, we want to be able to the golden goose here is to be able to move through the fullest range of motion for as long as we can, right? Because successful aging and happy aging is to keep our mobility so that we can do the things that we need to do in life. So you're gonna put something on a shelf or pick something up off the floor, that's mobility, or even get up off the floor, okay? All right, so we've got a little rotation going. Now we're gonna go in a little bit of a different direction. And again, this is gonna look different for everyone. So you're gonna, well, we could break it down, okay? So you're gonna take one arm behind you over the top and the other one behind you this way. It doesn't have to look like this. If you've got great shoulder mobility, or maybe your hands can touch. If not, then you're here. That doesn't matter. It matters what feels for you. Okay, so we are just gonna do switching again. And as you work through all of these mobility exercises, you can go slower than me. I probably wouldn't go faster. You're gonna start to feel those muscles warm up. When you do these 5, 6 times, and then you find, okay, well, how does that feel? By the time you get to maybe 10 times, you start to feel like, oh, I can maybe reach a little further, or it doesn't feel so tight and stiff. Either one of those scenarios is a win. Okay. So you can either, if you're doing these on your own, you can either time it, so 30 seconds or a minute if you have time, or you could do 20 repetitions, etc. So unlike flexibility, we're really just gonna focus, you can focus on timer if you're counting. I am a terrible counter and I forget, so I like to keep time. All right, so moving on. We are gonna do a variation of a cat-cow stretch, seated cat-cow, and it's gonna hit our shoulders, the back of our shoulders a little differently than a normal cat-cow. So what is cat-cow? You've probably done it either in a sitting position or on the floor for yoga, right? Normally we round the back, we push our hands, and then you might open up this way. Today we're gonna do it a little differently. You're gonna take, and I'll stand for this so you can really see. You're gonna interlace your hands behind your back, place them at your lower back, and when we round, the elbows are going to come forward. Okay, so we're drawing our elbows forward in the front, and when we do that, our shoulder blades separate in the back, and we also get a nice stretch in the back of the shoulder. You might be feeling that somewhere differently depending on where you are that's tight. Okay, so as we sit up, now we're going to press those palms down, roll the shoulders back, and open up the chest. Now, I'm standing, right? So I get a little bit more range of motion here because I can push all the way down. If you choose not to stand, that's fine. You're going to have a little bit, maybe less space to straighten your arms, but you can still really get that nice opening of the shoulders. At that point, you're probably pressing those folded palms, interlaced palms into your chair and just pushing out. So we're going to go again, movement, right? Palms at the back of the lower back, elbows really coming together. I want you to be really active about that, okay? Because that's what makes this kind of a different stretch or movement than one where we're not actively pushing our elbows together. So open up, nice deep breath. Make sure you're breathing through this. Exhale, elbows together, open up. And excellent. Okay, so now moving on. Again, we're going to take some of these stretches that you've seen and do them a little differently. And we've got a whole mobility exercise. So one hand out, you're going to rotate it down. Looks familiar, right? You're going to take your palm and gently get your wrist back, whether it's 90 degrees or less, depending on where is a nice, comfortable stretch for you. You are going to take that hand and keep your palm gently pressed back and bring it across your body. So for me, scooch it down a little bit so you keep your shoulder down, and you're going to bring it across you to the outside of your thigh. If it doesn't get to the outside of your thigh, that's fine. It's wherever that ends up. Just do your best to get it across the front of your body. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to tilt our head toward where that hand is and then come up. So let's do this 10 times. I want you to take note here, shoulders stay down. Keep your abdominals nice and tight. The shoulders should stay over the hips. So we're not tilting our whole body, right? We are just isolating our head and our neck. We also want to take note to not tilt with the shoulders, so that shoulder should not come up. Nice, relaxed. Okay. Take note of your palm here. If you have a tendency to loosen and start to straighten your arm, you will get a stretch, but it's going to feel a little different. And you can even test it out for yourself. How does the stretch feel when I push my palm back versus how does the stretch feel if I leave my palm straight? Okay, you can definitely feel this coming up more through this trapezius and your neck muscles here when you have the palm bent. Okay, let's go to the other side. Okay, nice and shoulder. If you want to wiggle yourself into the position gently, that works. All right, so now I'm going to tilt my head toward my hand that's crossed over. Nice little stretch movement. Make sure those shoulders stay over the hips and everything is stabilized. The only thing that moves is your head. Nice and gentle. Remember, if you're really feeling this and you want to spend a few moments here, you get to pick your pace as long as you're moving through your range at some point. All right, shake that out. Feeling a little tight here. That felt great. All right, so next stretch, we are going to use the armchair to help us here. I'll talk a little bit about, if you don't have an armchair, we're gonna do things a little differently. Okay, so again, we are going to roll forward here in the name or in the vein of mobility to really start to open up the top of, the bottom of our neck or top of our shoulders, and then also the back of the shoulder here. So you're gonna take one hand behind your back, okay, like so. And you have two options here. If you have the range of motion that's available to you, to grab this arm and then pull that shoulder forward a little bit. Now I'm feeling a stretch big time. My shoulder blade back here, back of my shoulder. If you have that available to you, you can do that. Now, I'm super tight and this feels awkward. So I'm going to use my chair here to help me out. I'm going to get my hand in that position. My elbow is here. My elbow is sort of placed against the armchair. If you are taller and you don't reach your armchair, that's okay. You could probably hook part of your forearm there. We're just looking for a little bit of support here. And then now we're going to lean the body back, but our elbow stays where it is. Okay, so this part goes back, elbow stays to the front, and we're gonna sit back up. So now we get a little help in opening up that shoulder blade, the back of the shoulder. Feel it a little bit in your lats here without really putting a lot of strain on the other side of our body trying to pull the arm forward. Unless you're pretty, flexible and have great mobility there, I find that this is more helpful for people. At least for me, I can relax and do it a little bit more. All right, other side. Tuck that elbow in. I wasn't really quite close. And start to lean back. Make sure that elbow stays forward. And then the rest of you tilts back. So you start to get a little bit of a rotation here. Okay. All right, we are almost out of time. Well, we are out of time. So I hope that these mobility exercises have gotten you a little looser, a little warmer for today. If you're sitting at a computer or doing a lot of hand work, this can help open up the body and help with mobility and also prevent injury. So thank you guys so much. Have an awesome weekend. If you haven't started getting ready for the holidays, gentle nudge, go do your checklist. And thanks for joining me. Have a good day.